Quesadillas. The word alone conjures up fuzzy memories of tableside guac, salty, oily chips, and one too many frozen margaritas. That's exactly what we're going for, the ultimate expression of Tex-Mex cuisine. So that means flour tortillas and Monterey Jack cheese, lots of it. Can the internet survive two melty, gooey, cheesy videos on the same channel in the same week? More importantly, can I? Only one way to find out. Let's get down to basics. Alright, so let's start by having a talk about cheese. I know I only mentioned Monterey Jack before, but I like to add a little bit of sharp cheddar into the mix for flavor and color. But Monterey Jack is super important because it melts like mozzarella and tastes like a slightly more flavorful mozzarella. Now, of course, we could just do cheese quesadillas, but I like some filling, so let's talk chicken. Get your texting out of the way before you cover your hands in salmonella, and let's butterfly our chicken breasts. Basically, we're just going to place long cuts down the side of the breast until we can open it up like a book. Then we're going to place them between sheets of plastic wrap and pound them out flat and even. Nice thin chicken breasts like this cook more quickly and are less susceptible to drying out. But they're pretty bland, so let's talk marinade. Into our large bowl, we are combining a couple tablespoons of vegetable oil, 2 crushed cloves of garlic, about a teaspoon of oregano, all the cumin you have left in the house, maybe a tablespoon, a teaspoon of cayenne, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and a teaspoon of white sugar, which is going to help the exterior of the chicken caramelize, plus the juice of 1 lime, a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and about a teaspoon each of kosher salt and freshly ground pepper. Give that a good tiny whiskin. Place your beflattened chicken in a zip-top bag and pour the marinade over top, squeezing all the air out, zipping shut, and massaging to ensure even coverage. Then, to prevent cross-contamination, we are placing this into a bowl before placing it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes and up to 4 hours. Just enough time to make some quesadilla accoutrement. How about some of that guac I was talking about? Into a bowl goes the meat, flesh. Actually, I believe it's called a mesocarp. The mesocarps of 2 ripe avocados, 1/2 of a small red onion, finely chopped, 1 large jalapeno devoid of seeds and veins if you don't want it to be too spicy. And the last time I made guac on this show, I forgot to add garlic, very embarrassing, 2 cloves of grated garlic, the juice of 1 lime, and a good shake of cumin. Mash that up with a fork, and do not forget to season with kosher salt and freshly ground pepper to achieve a basic but killer guacamole. Now on to negotiating our chicken breasts. We want to cook these as hot and fast as possible. Shake off the excess marinade and sear in a skillet that's been preheated over high heat, flipping once or twice until the internal temperature registers 155 degrees Fahrenheit, then remove, allow to cool a little bit, and slice. And now it's finally time to start assembling our quesadillas. I'm starting with a layer of chicken, followed by some sauteed peppers and onions, and a layer of our cheese mix. You will notice that I'm making half quesadillas. That's just my preferred form factor. However you assemble them, you want a generous amount of oil in the bottom of your frying pan. I'd say about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth. I'm going to preheat the pan over medium heat for about a minute before dropping them in and letting them almost deep fry in all that oil. Then we're going to flip after about a minute and a half once they turn beautiful and golden brown on the first side. Let them go for about another minute and a half on the second side and then remove to slice and consume. I like to cut my quesadillas into 6 even slices, kind of like some kind of Tex-Mex pizza pie, and serve with sour cream, guacamole, and salsa. As you can see, even in one of its more advanced forms, quesadillas are pretty damn easy. They just take a little bit of practice to get the heat right, and you want to be generous but not overzealous with the fillings so they're not spilling out every time you try to take a bite, like that. But what if you're a steakitarian? For that, I have to recommend hangar or skirt steak, like this, because it's super fatty and flavorful. We're going to prepare it the way we would pretty much in any other application, which is to hit it with salt and pepper, let it rest at room temperature for about 30 minutes, drop them in a ripping hot cast iron skillet that is lubed with vegetable oil that you have allowed to reach its smoke point, flip after 3 to 5 minutes or after it has begun to attain a golden brown crust, cooking for another 4 to 5 minutes, flipping as necessary until your desired internal temperature has been reached. I like 125 degrees Fahrenheit for this particular cut. Then we're taking it off the heat and letting it rest, covered with aluminum foil for at least 10 minutes. Don't forget to take advantage of this nice fond in the bottom of the pot and saute your onions and peppers in there, which is going to give our quesadillas a little bit of extra steaky goodness. Slice the steak into 3-inch long segments and then slice across the grain so you have tender little strips of beautiful beef, which now make their journey into our quesadillas. Same deal as before, half moon orientation. I'm just going to lay down a single layer of beef topped with peppers and onions and of course a generous handful of cheese. And then it's time to fry them up. Same procedure as with the chicken, but this is good practice. If you are scared of flipping the dillas directly, if you don't have a large enough spatula, it kind of helps to pull them out and put them on a plate and either flip them one at a time like this or flip them on the plate plate and then shimmy them back into the frying pan. There's not much more to show here technique-wise, but I mean, come on, you want to see this thing sliced up, right? Yeah, me too. Into 6 equal slices they go, and then it's time to dig in. So that covers steakitarians, but what about vegetarians, which is an actual thing? For them, I like to go zucchini and corn, so we're going to start by executing a fine chop on our zucchini, taking our corn out of the can and pretending it's fresh, and sauteing them in a large nonstick skillet with a little bit of olive oil. I like to start with the zucchini and then add the corn later over pretty high heat because we're just trying to get color on these things. From here, the procedure is pretty much what you'd imagine it to be. Spoon some of the filling over half of the tortilla, top with a layer of cheese, and press really flat because these are some particularly tumbly fillings and we don't want them tumbling out. Hit the pan with oil, preheat, drop in the dillas, try to think of something funny to tweet. Nothing's coming. Lay them down, slice them up, and finally give your audience the payoff they've been waiting for with a serious cheese stretch. Oop, didn't cut all the way through. Oh, never mind. So there you have it, 3 different quesadillas to keep your friends and loved ones happy for the rest of time. Now stop watching internet videos and go make one.